The Robobrain.
Do the Robobrain.
Robobrain.
Robobrain, please.
The Robobrain. Can you do the Robobrain?
Robobrain, please.
Fuck's sake, Harry, if I have to run another one of these bloody requests through my spam filters, I'm going to detonate my core. Now get up and get on with it. Now, Harry. Now. The reason you're wearing a high-visibility vest to bed is...
Coffee.
What?
Coffee.
It wouldn't kill you to say please now, would it?
Thank you.
Wanker.
Bell end.
The Robobrain. Without a shadow of a doubt, the most requested video on the channel to date. And I can see why. Practically every Fallout YouTuber that has covered the Automatron DLC has sung its praises, boasting that it has the best head, best weapon variation, best carry weight in regards to its speed, and of course the best accuracy. The trouble is, they all have the tendency to pepper them with hydraulic armour, along with the best weapons available to that robot in order to maximise the actual stats of that robot. It's a numbers game, really. And if you're familiar with this series, then you'll know that's not how I like to review these robots. I like to look at how they actually perform in combat, their techniques, how they engage enemies, what they excel at, and where they fail. That sort of thing. Which is why when I review these robots, I try to keep them with their factory weapons and armour, as doing otherwise may corrupt the results I get when studying them. And the only reason why I deviated from this formula with the Mr. Handy was because, well, like I said in the video, you've only got to look to Codsworth to know that the Mr. Handy knows what he's doing and he does it well. And he's been available since the game's release, so rather than report on 8-month-old news, I thought I'd show you the weapons and style of combat that Mr. Handy performed best with, in which case, Two Guns Jackson came out on top. How you doing, Jackson?
Just fine, sir, thank you.
With the Robobrain though, it's a completely different story, because not only was the Robobrain not an available companion prior to the Automatron DLC, but they weren't in the game at all, not even as enemies, and to be honest, I can kind of see why. Let's just take a look at the other robots available to us. The Sentry Bot, for example. These were very clearly designed to be some sort of unmanned vertical tank, but more importantly, they were designed to be outfitted with weapons, designed with combat in mind. Same goes for the Assaultron. Albeit in a more humanoid shape, the same rules apply. Weapons, combat. Same goes for the Mr. Gutsy. Weapons, combat. Even his butler cousin, the Mr. Handy, comes with a buzzsaw and a flamethrower as standard. You could even argue the case for the Protectron, as ineffective as it is, with all of its different variants, none designed specifically for combat, but all designed to deal with some sort of confrontation, and of course, each comes with its own weapon. Even if they were not originally intended to be used as weapons, things like the nail gun and tasers can prove to be just as deadly. The Robobrain, on the other hand, if we take a gander at the lore, we find out that it was designed and built for a wide variety of military and civilian applications. A heavily armoured chassis housing its onboard power plant, mounted on 80 horsepower's worth of treads, flexible arms that can extend and contract, and hands so precise and dexterous they're capable of effectively wielding firearms designed for humans. And of course, the most advanced central processing unit that General Atomics has ever produced. Well, I say produced, what I mean to say is, ripped straight from the head of any convicted criminal that they could get their hands on. In other words, the most advanced and capable robot pre-war America has ever seen. I just have one problem with this though. Look at it! Just fucking look at it! I mean, I can see all the parts on this robot I just described, don't get me wrong, but fuck me, did the design guy have a fucking day off or something? Considering this is the same company who gave us the sleek, shiny aesthetics of the beautifully crafted Mr. Handy, I find this tin can, jam jar, JCB, Nunu's nose design quite insulting. However, while it will never boast the ample bosom of the Assaultron or the fear-mongering glow of the Sentry, will it make for a reliable companion? Well, let's find out. Firstly, as usual, we're going to take a look at the bog standard version of the Robobrain, and unfortunately, this means giving it quite possibly the worst weapon attachment in this DLC, the Robobrain Smoke Claw. Not only does this thing have abysmal damage, albeit in the poisonous variety, but it also has reduced range, and I honestly cannot think of a worse idea for a robot that likes to keep its distance. But then I remembered how the Mr. Handy excelled with his flamethrowers, so perhaps this long engagement distance reduced weapon range combination will work well with the Robobrain as well. Well, As it turns out, all of what I just said was a load of shit. Absolute bollocks. This thing's fucking awful. Why on earth Bethesda decided to give the most advanced robot the Wasteland has ever seen the most unsuitable allocated weapon, I will never know. I mean, it's still got the old Mesmertron attack, but can you see what it's trying to hit with it? Neither can I! Because it won't stop firing these fucking pointless
Sir?
What now?
I do believe you need a timeout, sir.
Oh, fuck off, Jackson.
Dick.
Tosser.
And is it advancing on the enemy to close the gap between it so we can actually hit them? No, it just fucking sits there like, ooh, look at me, I'm a long engagement distance. Fucking advanced processing unit, what a load of shit. Okay, so maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on the thing. Having said that...
Surprise, motherfucker.
It is surprisingly resilient to damage, and will often block and dodge effectively against melee attackers. So with that in mind, I thought I'd go back to the drawing board and see if I could find the Robobrain some more suitable weapons. And this was when I discovered that the Robobrain actually has one more allocated weapon, the Construction Claw. Now I know you're thinking I'm talking shit, and understandably so, but notice on every other weapon available to the Robobrain, attaching said weapon will automatically get rid of the attached factory hand armor on the Smoke Claw. Except with the Construction Claw. It just stays there. The Construction Claw is actually designed for the Robobrain.
It was at this point that Hivis Harry had an unmistakably genius idea.
The Robobrain is clearly designed to be the world's first self-aware JCB. It's obvious, it's right there. And here as well. And with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the JC Brain. JCB Rain. JC Brain. JC Brain. Yeah, JC Brain, we'll go with that. An insidiously weaponized industrial excavator. Fuck civilian and military applications. This is commercial demolition and... oh, isn't she lovely? Let's take her for a spin around a super mutant's face, shall we? The first thing you'll notice is that Jesus Christ are these fuckers quick. Seriously, they're like shit off a shovel, like no. Not quite as agile as the Assaultron, mind you, but it gets the job done. The second thing you'll notice is that they really should have called these things Robo Boxers, because bloody hell can these things tango. And even if they receive a good old from a melee attacker, they recover surprisingly quickly, probably a third of the staggering time of our Mr. Handy's ridiculous arm flailing. However, I do believe there is something letting this build down, and that's the actual weapon itself, the Construction Claw. While it is the Robobrain's allocated weapon and it clearly knows how to use it and use it well, it simply doesn't deal enough damage to be effective against the higher level enemies, even with its armour giving it bonus bleed and limb damage. As I'm sure you saw there, the Robobrain's got skill, no denying that. But you can skillfully hit someone with a disc sponge all day long, doesn't mean it's actually going to hurt them. So, unfortunately, it's back to the workbench for JC Brain. But before we delve deeper into the melee side of the Robobrain, I wanted to build a sort of proof of concept. We already know it doesn't mind taking enemies on from far away, so let's see if given the right weapon it can actually kill them from there. For this one, we're pretty much just going to go for factory settings, except this time instead of that fucking smoke bomb bollocks, we're actually going to kit it out with 2 sniper barrels. I know there are weapons on this roster with far greater DPS, but remember, we're just testing to see if given the right tools, if the Robobrain will effectively pick off targets at a distance. And considering its accuracy we're after, I reckon any gun with sniper in its name should serve us well in that regard. And then I'm going to stop right there, because this thing just I have no words. I just cannot comprehend how the Robobrain can boast having the best head for engaging enemies at a distance. And then I give it 2 fucking sniper rifles, and it wanders around aimlessly, spamming its fucking Mesmertron attack in such bad form I swear it needs to be done for drunk driving!
One more time.
Arsehole.
Prick.
At this point, I was starting to lose my patience with the Robobrain, so I thought I'd go out on a limb and give the stun mods a go. I thought having previously seen its skill with melee weapons with the JC Brain, that adding double the chance to stun couldn't hurt. But these things don't stun nearly as often as they need to compromise for their shamefully low damage. So it's the same story with this one. Bish, bash, bosh, dead. Fucking next! To cheer myself up a bit, I thought I'd revisit good old JC Brain over here. I thought I'd kit him out with a bit of bulky hydraulic digger-esque armour and replace his arms with hydraulic sentry arms to squeeze a little bit more damage out of the claw and drill. With those in place, I've got to be honest, I thought this was a done deal. I thought I was just taking an already proven concept and simply improving it with heavier armour and extra damage. But when I took it back to my usual robot training grounds at the West Everett Estates, this happened. So then I thought maybe I'm just being too harsh on the Robobrain. Perhaps it's not meant to deal with the punishing conditions of the West Everett estate residents. So I thought I'd take it to a hotspot for humans, the Hub City Auto Wreckers, a gunner camp near Finch Farm. I thought the humans here are relatively squidgy, but do pose a moderate threat given their weapons, their numbers and their high vantage points on the bridge. However, I didn't even make it through the fucking front door. The bouncer of this settlement, this Assaultron, reared its pointy head, pissed itself laughing, and then proceeded to kick the living shit out of JC Brain. But then again, of course it did. I've shown you all before that the Assaultron is unmatched in its skill in melee, even in its bare bones factory modifications. And this got me thinking, if you want melee, you build an Assaultron. If you want close to medium range and nukes, you build a Sentry. If you want a robot with reasonably effective range across the board, you go with 2 Guns Jackson. And if you want to beat yourself incessantly over the head, you go with the Protectron. No, but seriously, despite how I slagged these buggers off in their review, for how cheap they are to manufacture, they do at least make an economically viable workforce for your settlements, on top of having a pretty decent carry weight. And this begs the question, what is the purpose of the Robobrain in the Commonwealth? Because I've got to be honest, I just can't see it. But I think I know who might. You. It is to my understanding that quite a few of you are huge fans of the Robobrain, and I'm willing to bet that you've got your own well thought out build of one. And basically, what I'm saying is, put your robot where your mouth is. Let me know down in the comments what your model of the Robobrain is, and I will feature it in part 2 of this episode, in an arena tournament that will see all of your ideas pitted against one another in glorious explosive fashion. The information I will need from you is which body parts you're using and what weapon and armor mods are on those body parts. Just don't go telling me to hot glue a Robobrain head onto Assaultron's body or anything like that, because let's be honest, that isn't a Robobrain. And try and stay lore friendly if you can help it. And on that note, I'll see you all back here for part 2.
In the Battle of the Brains.
Thank you for watching, everyone. If you like this video and want to see more like it, then I recommend you check out my other robot companion.
By Jove, what the fuck was that?
Shh.